Hi fellas, are you looking for a place to enjoy Reddit stories? Then you are in the right place. This is the Reddit Guide channel, where we bring interesting Reddit stories your way. Stay tuned and enjoy. Story 1. Am I the asshole for kicking my husband's family out of my home during family dinner? I have been with my husband for 8 years. We have a 2-year-old daughter together. For the first 6 years of our relationship, my husband could not hold a job to save his life, and honestly, it did not bother me the way people might expect. I worked in the medical field and made very good money. He did not ask for much, and he was very good to me, so I truly had zero issues with it. It turned out his work instability was tied to attention deficit hyperactivity disorder and depression. During those 6 years, I paid all of our bills, and as much as I hate to put this out there, I was basically supporting his family too. His sister and brother, both older than us by 4 years or more, and occasionally his mother. Over 6 years, I gave them around $50,000. Mortgage payments, car payments, food, sports fees for their kids. It adds up quickly. I never once asked for repayment. It did not even bother me until the end of year 6. That is when my mother-in-law showed up at my doorstep for a family meeting and said the whole family needed to chip in for another relative's lawyer fees. I handed over $3,000. Later, I found out I was the only one who contributed. That was the gut punch. That was the last straw. I stopped giving them money immediately. My husband was fully on my side. He had actually told me to stop helping them before that, but his family pushed back hard. Around this same time, I found out I was 6 months pregnant. Fast forward. My husband gets medicated for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, he commits to therapy, gets his trucking license. He has worked steadily ever since I was about 8 months pregnant. He has missed exactly 1 shift the day I went into labor. The medication changed everything. I became a stay-at-home mom. My husband now makes about 4 times what I made at the hospital. He brings home $140,000 a year after taxes. Our expenses are under $4,000 a month. He has nearly $200,000 in savings. We are not struggling. Here is the problem. He refuses to financially help his family anymore, and somehow I'm being blamed for that. We hosted his entire family for dinner. First time in 2 years. Everything was fine until my mother-in-law asked when I planned to return to work. I said I did not plan to until our daughter was in school. She said that simply does not work. Then she and my sister-in-law started implying that it was unfair to my husband that I have no income. They talked about how family cannot depend on help anymore. In other words, their cash cow is gone. I reminded them I gave them $50,000 over 6 years. My mother-in-law claimed she had paid back more than that because she had brought over expired food bank items and broken 1930s furniture we told her not to bring. I told her that was not repayment. On her alone, I had given over $8,000. The argument escalated. She said I had not done anything in 2 years and that surely my husband had paid me back by now. So I snapped. I said that him paying rent and bills while I raise our child is not repayment. He was not the one using me financially, his family was. And I told them to get out. They refused. I told them I would call the police. They finally left. I told them they are not welcome back and that we are going no contact. My husband was not home during this. He had run to the store. When he got back and I explained everything, he went quiet. He apologized for what they said, but then tried to justify it. He said maybe they just meant they thought I should work to help with bills. He said households cannot survive on one income in 2026. He mentioned that if I worked, he could cut back hours and spend more time with our daughter. He works 50 hours a week and is home before 5 p.m. every day. He makes $140,000 take home. We spend less than $4,000 monthly. I can't even look at him right now. I feel disgusted. Am I wrong here? Let's take some comments. Commenter 1. The only part that bothers me is your husband going quiet and low-key defending them. That's the real conversation. His family disrespecting you is one thing. Him softening it after you carried everyone for years? No. Commenter 2. I have a feeling your husband was asked for money several times and threw you under the bus to avoid giving it. This sounds like a big husband problem. Commenter 3. A lot of men fold when it comes to domineering mothers. They get sheepish and start talking nonsense real fast. This is how I'm seeing the story. This was never about whether one income is enough. The math is clear. They are financially stable. This was about access. The family lost access to her income and now they're scrambling. But the real issue is not the in-laws. It's whether her husband is truly on her side when it counts. Because once you have carried everyone for years, you deserve protection, not quiet hesitation. Story 2. Birth sister 27F tracked me down and wants to be part of my 26F life. I do not want her at my wedding or in my life at all. Here is the issue. I was adopted as a baby. I have no clue what happens to anyone in that family because I never had a desire to look into my past. My parents were very open about what happened, abuse and neglect. Mom, 59F, and Dad, 63M, are wonderful and giving people. I have a sister, Elizabeth, who is my twin. We are not related by blood, but we are the same age. We are both adopted, so we bonded over that. I met the love of my life, Jake, 30M, and we have been together for 4 years. We are getting married in December. I have already planned out the guest list. No kids will be there. I am super excited. I have never really had the urge to look for my biological siblings. At this point, I would not really be their true sibling emotionally because we have lived completely different lives. I have medical records and grew up without them, so I never felt the need to meet them. But my biological sister, Janice, 27F, tracked me down about a month ago. She wrote to me on Facebook in July, but I did not check my other folder until September. It was a very long letter explaining who she was, how she tracked me down, and that she was looking for the rest of the siblings. She said she wanted to connect with all of us because she needed to find her past. I did not know what to think, but her story added up. She had pictures. Since I was apparently a pretty ugly baby, it was obviously us together as toddlers. She knew certain details. I showed Mom and Dad and they said it checked out. We have been talking for a few weeks now. She calls twice a week and texts every day. She is nice, but I have been losing interest. She feels like a stranger. Emotionally, I find it very hard to recognize that this is someone I should care about. On some deep level, should I not feel like we are super close sisters? I do not get the same excitement talking to her that I do with Elizabeth. She has 2 kids and talks about them constantly. She told me she showed them my picture, and they have been showing people Auntie Emily. She also told me she took time off in December for the wedding and might need to stay with me because she is low on cash. I know this makes me sound nasty and ungrateful. She is very enthusiastic about meeting me. She said I'm the most normal sibling, and she is so excited to have someone to share her life with. She sounds lonely. I know she has built this up in her head as the best thing to happen to her in a long time. But she is not someone I would have in my life if she did not share my DNA. Every time we talk, she goes on and on while I count down the minutes. I have tried to find a way to be there for her, but I cannot make myself truly care. I do not wish her harm. She just feels like another stranger. She is not family emotionally. I could try to form a bond, but at 26, I have already established the kind of people I want in my life. She has views I find strange. She can be rude in ways I find annoying. And despite having biological nieces, I do not feel they are anything more than someone else's children. Does this make me a bad person? Am I horrid? I feel incredibly guilty because I can tell she wants this so badly. But even if we became friends, she would never be my sister. Being a sister means more than genetics to me. I am not sure how to tell her, hey, I don't want to talk anymore. I spoke with my fiance and he said if I want her out of my life, I just need to handle it. He doesn't really like her. They have spoken, but he feels she is putting a lot of pressure on me to be close when that kind of connection doesn't always happen. Comments. Commenter 1. Janice, I have enjoyed getting to know you, but I do not feel the emotional and familial bond that you seem to. While I understand your need to reconnect with your family, I already feel that I have one. Pretending otherwise would be unfair to both of us. I know this is difficult, but I am not in a place in my life where I can have the kind of relationship you are seeking. I wish you well. And no, you are not awful. Family is not always about DNA. Reply from OP. Thank you, that is a good message. I just feel bad because it seems like I'm supposed to want this, but realistically, she just isn't someone I see adding value to my life. Commenter 2. Not everyone believes that. There's a famous psychological concept called the tyranny of the should. It's about trying to live up to expectations that aren't actually yours. Commenter 3. She is a stranger who happens to share DNA. You don't have to become instant best friends. And honestly, she is coming across as clingy. I would be creeped out too. Reply from OP. Majorly creeped out. The Auntie Emily thing was the first in a long line of creepiness. She is showing kids I don't know my picture and building fantasies about who I am. It feels weird. Update. Over the past few days, I did a lot of thinking. Long story short, I decided not to have her in my life anymore. Janice called last night. I tried to be polite, but she went into a long rave about her plans for visiting. She brought up the wedding. Would there be time to visit a long list of local places together? Did she have a +1? What were the dinner options? She had already bought blue dresses with baskets for her daughters so they could be flower girls with the rest of the children. She wanted to know who would watch the girls during dinner. She was excited to meet our family members in December. She needed to know what day she should arrive. She would need to stay with me because she had spent all her extra cash on your wedding. I was stunned because she had done all of this without even confirming she was invited. For some reason, I asked whether she was truly in contact with the other siblings. She told me she had reached out to 2 of them. They tried to talk but eventually cut off contact. They were doing well, married with kids and stable jobs. They refused to introduce her to their children and became upset when she asked for more details about their lives and about our biological parents. The rest of the siblings declined contact immediately. She said I was the longest conversation she had maintained in a long time. She wanted to meet me so badly that she had spent more money than she could afford just to look nice. She wanted help. She wanted her daughters to finally have a good family. So I told her the truth. You are coming on too quickly. It concerns me that you are trying to invite yourself to my wedding. We have never met. We are strangers. I do not feel comfortable with you staying in my home before, during, or after the wedding. I already have a sister and parents. I was raised with them. I do not view any of the biological siblings as family. I am not an aunt in anything but genetics. If I ever have nieces or nephews, they will be Elizabeth's children. I would like to cut contact. I'm sorry you have been hurt, but I don't have the energy to help you process that. I do not wish her harm. She just feels like another stranger. She is not family emotionally. I do not want to revisit abuse I don't remember or participate in reunion stories. I want to focus on my own family. She said she had no one else and that she was her last family member. I reminded her that her children are her family and encouraged her to build friendships. Then I hung up. She tried to call multiple times. I blocked her everywhere and planned to change my number. I feel relieved. Final comments. Commenter 1. You did the right thing for both of you. The fact that other siblings cut contact suggests this boundary issue is ongoing. It's sad, but she is not your responsibility. Reply from OP. I hope she backs off. Jake doesn't think she will. We have security prepared in case she shows up. My family is aware and has blocked her too. Commenter 2. I feel sorry for her. She could have gone through a lot and might be desperately searching for stability, but you are not obligated to fix that. Reply from OP. I do feel for her, but I am not willing to be someone's savior, specifically her savior. Commenter 3. You did what was best for your future and your family. Good for you. Reply from OP. I feel terrible because she sounds so down and out, but if your entire birth family cuts contact, that's concerning. I wonder what she wrote them. I know the older siblings remember more. I would be horrified if someone showed up demanding painful answers this far into adulthood. This is my opinion about the story. This story really highlights something important. Biology alone doesn't create family. Shared experiences, safety, trust, and time do. You can feel compassion for someone and still decide they are not healthy for your life. Setting boundaries doesn't make you cruel. Sometimes it's the most responsible thing you can do for everyone involved. Story 3. Sat down on my friend's MacBook and broke it. I offered to pay her for it, but now she wants more because she was upgrading anyway. She says if I do not agree, she will sue me in small claims court. I had some friends over at my house, and one of my friends brought another friend along. She had her MacBook sitting on my couch. I did not see it, sat down, and broke it. It was completely my fault, so I immediately offered to pay for it. She agreed. She bought it 3 years ago for $2,200. I told her I would wire her the money within a week. Later, she emailed me saying that as per our conversation, she was expecting $2,700. I had no idea why she added the extra $500, so I got her number and called her. She told me she now expected me to pay for her brand new upgraded MacBook because she was upgrading anyway. She said if I did not agree, she would take me to small claims court. Can a judge agree to that? Should I just wire her $2,200 or tell her to sue me? Update. I went through every single one of the 200 plus comments, and I sincerely thank all of you. I did some research. For her specific MacBook model, replacing the screen would cost about $310 plus labor. So I emailed her and said that since she did not accept my initial offer of $2,200, I was withdrawing that offer and instead offering to cover the repair cost. She emailed back calling me a bitch and saying she was taking me to court. A few days later, I was officially served. In court, I explained that I had offered her 3 options: a brand new MacBook for $2,200, a refurbished or used one for around $1,400, or repairing the existing MacBook for around $300 plus labor. I brought printed copies of my emails, her responses demanding $2,700, the message where she insulted me, and screenshots showing price quotes for new, refurbished, and repair options for her specific model. I also explained that when I originally offered to buy her a new one directly from the Apple Store, she said she wanted the money in cash. When I offered $2,200, she agreed, and only later demanded $2,700 because she wanted to upgrade. I showed the judge how it was clear she was trying to take advantage of the situation. She gave the judge attitude throughout the hearing, which did not help her case. After hearing both sides, the judge rules that I only had to pay 50% of the repair cost since she negligently left her laptop on the couch. So, in the end, I will be paying around $200 to $250 total. If it were not for all of you, I would have paid $2,200. Instead, I'm paying about $200. And honestly, the look on her face as we walked out of court, priceless. Comments. Commenter 1. OP is a treasure. They took full responsibility for something that was not entirely their fault and were ready to make it right immediately. Then, when someone tried to take advantage of that goodwill, they stood their ground. Excellent outcome. Commenter 2. Thankfully, this sounds more like a friend of a friend situation. Commenter 3. I want to be OP's friend. They sound like a high-quality person and someone great to have in your social circle. Personal commentary. This story is such a great reminder that taking responsibility does not mean accepting unfair demands. OP handled this with maturity, documentation, and calm logic, and it paid off. It's also a good lesson that kindness should never mean letting someone walk all over you. Story 4. Try to make me look bad in front of the boss? You should have read first. I just had a small but satisfying moment at work and wanted to share. I will keep the details vague because some of my coworkers use Reddit, and English is not my first language. For my job, we evaluate educational programs completed in foreign countries and write reports comparing them to the credentials in our country. A coworker tried to claim that I had done a report incorrectly. However, if she had actually read the program requirements, she would have seen that I was right. The person in question had only completed 10 years of schooling before starting their program, not the 12 years required for our equivalent credential. So what did I do? Nothing. I let her bring our boss into it. Instead of making me look bad, she ended up making herself look foolish. The boss asked her why she was monitoring my work instead of focusing on her own responsibilities. Comments. Commenter 1. Never interrupt your enemy when they are making a mistake. Reply from OP. And never go against a Sicilian when death is on the line. Commenter 2. In my experience, people like that double down and learn nothing from it. Reply from OP. Fortunately, there is not much she can actually do to me aside from being mildly annoying. Commenter 3. Sometimes the best move is letting people tell on themselves. I bet she double checks next time. Reply from OP. She should not have checked even once. She was not involved in the report and is not responsible for reviewing my work. Personal commentary. There is something deeply satisfying about staying calm and letting facts speak for themselves. Not every challenge needs a dramatic response. Sometimes patience is the most powerful move. And honestly, moments like this are a reminder that quiet confidence often wins in the long run.
Thanks for staying to the end. If you enjoyed the stories, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more interesting Reddit stories.